Hello and welcome to the final day of IPC Apex Expo 2023 in San Diego. Joined by Phil Kinner from McDermott Alpha and Electrolube as part of McDermott Alpha. We've been talking several years of that slow integration of the two businesses. How is that all going there?
It's starting to accelerate. So I think it's really good for us as a smaller company to kind of be part of a bigger company and to start thinking like a bigger company and taking advantage of some of the benefits that we have to offer. Better IT for sure, better equipment for us in the lab, more access to a wider group of people, and plenty of opportunity to kind of cross-populate ideas and share different ways of thinking. And it's kind of, for me, anyone who knows me will know that it's never the coating's fault. It's always the solder paste problem, or it's always So now it's kind of changing that, and kind of working together to really understand what's going on and to add some value to our customers.
So that's good. So that must be adding sort of value both sides of the.
Yeah, I think so. So we've got plenty of projects kind of lined up to think about what we can do together that we couldn't do individually, and so I think that's all anyone could have asked for. I think.
I mean, it gives you more R&D facilities, I guess, as well, isn't it?
It does. So we have plenty of application centres. We have a couple of R&D centres. Mostly for us, it's India and Japan that we're kind of working with. We're working with some of our colleagues in edge bond and underfill, which is kind of somewhat familiar to me, but it's really interesting, kind of really exciting because it's more polymers, more applications in a slightly different way with slightly different challenges, but a lot of the principles remain the same. And seeing, they've been in the family, I think 3-4 years longer than us, so seeing the benefits that have been brought to their business is kind of really exciting for us, and and even some of the learnings, some of the things that they've learned together. It's kind of really exciting about what we can learn together.
Yeah, and those to work well, they have to be a two-way street, don't they? Those relationships.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting that some of those relationships that were a bit frosty and before the acquisition, where it's like, well, we're already qualified, and it is changing a way of thinking. And I think for people whose focus is solely on soldering, to understand that there is a world after soldering is kind of like it's a big deal for them. And for us to understand more about why some of those things that we have to kind of deal with on the back end that we always now we understand why it's necessary, and so kind of working together to make everything a little bit better is kind of
that's good.
So hopefully it'll be successful.
And it's one of those things. It takes a few years for everything to bed in, doesn't it? And like you said, it sounds like for a lot of people it's new ways of thinking, isn't it?
Entirely. It's and human beings love change. Wait a minute. But actually, I think it is a really so my team are very excited because we've done pretty good work with fairly limited resources.
Yes.
We're kind of excited to see what we can achieve with some resources.
Excellent. So what kind of things are you talking to the customers this show about in particular?
Well, for me, it's my usual crusade. So it's edge coverage and thickness, and the practical challenges of achieving that, and so finding new ways, new application methods, new materials that can deal with those challenges, because the performance of our materials is kind of tied to thickness, coverage, and if we don't get perfect coverage, then there's an opportunity for corrosion or other failures. So still a challenge, still the unmet need, still what we're kind of pursuing as our version of the Holy Grail.
I was going to say, it's almost a quest for the Holy Grail, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can kind of see it, but it's getting to that.
A lot of it is constrained by capital equipment and the way that things have always been done.
Yeah.
So it's going to take time, but that's been my mission. So it continues to be my mission.
And it's a good time to have that mission because things are changing and demands on what things have to do inside even everything is changing, isn't it? So.
Well, I mean, it's interesting you say that. I spent most of my time in the technical sessions, and the conformal coating session had, I don't know, like nearly 100 people in it.
Yeah.
It's normally about 30.
Yes.
I'm looking around going,
have I got the right room?
I don't know who any of these people are. This is great.
Really?
Yeah, so seeing a lot of people kind of, so it's obviously something that is of interest to the industry at large, and it's kind of it's really exciting to see some of those new faces, new ideas. Even on the standards committee work, people more willing to move with the way the industry's going rather than trying to tie back to the way things have always been, and the spec that started it all. That was last updated before I was born. I'm not sure what the electronics were like when I was born. Don't remember them, but I'm guessing they're nothing like what we're making now. So I think it's about time for things to change.
No, it's good, and it's change, but also that pace of change is good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's accelerating. It's taken a while for Moore's law to reach the conformal coating industry, but maybe it's maybe it's time for that. I don't know.
If you had only 3 times the number of people in that session that you'd expect normally, then a lot of people are getting interested, and it's.
I think it's one of those things as the miniaturization journey continues, as devices get smaller, people use them in weirder places. Then I mean it kind of follows that they're going to need to ruggedize those assembly somehow.
And it's exciting time to be in this kind of development, isn't it? Because those it isn't just the same as it's always been. It isn't business as usual. Everything is changing.
Right. Yeah. And everyone loves change.
Yeah.
I actually do like change.
Yeah.
I think kind of it's the innovator's dream. It's business as normal is it's kind of dull. So new. I'm like a child. New toys, new challenges, it's a good time.
And that's how those things have to be sold, isn't it? So, well, it's fantastic, and I think this has proved things are getting back to normal now, isn't it? So it's the next few shows I think are going to be quite busy. It's quite hard getting used to it being busy again, I must admit.
Well, it sounds like you guys have been worked pretty hard.
Yes, very busy. But again, that reflects the number of people here, and so it's getting back to those where we were before, kind of thing. Thanks for spending time to talk to us. Pleasure as ever.
Welcome. Pleasure.
And we'll see you in either Nuremberg, Minneapolis, or Munich
somewhere.
Or somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, Phil.
Thanks, Ian.